All right, this is chapter 23 of the Year of the Dog. This chapter is called A Twinkie. Mom said it was good Melody was leaving early, that I should make new friends. That was the whole reason we came to the TAC camp. So she signed me up for an art class with kids my age. When I got to the room, there were 4 other girls there. They were all chattering like squirrels, so I went up to them. Hello, I said. One girl said something to me that I didn't understand. I shook my head. I can't speak Chinese, I said. I wasn't speaking Chinese, the girl said to me, her eyebrows flying to her forehead. I was speaking Taiwanese. I can't speak Taiwanese either, I said. You can't speak Chinese or Taiwanese, the girl said. Why not? I don't know what to say. I didn't know what to say. Mom and Dad spoke to each other in Taiwanese and Chinese at home, but they always spoke to us in English. Once when a girl in my school asked me the same question, my teacher had answered for me. Your parents are Italian, right? Mrs. Winton had said to her. Do you speak Italian? She had shaken her head no. Well then, Mrs. Winton said, why should Grace have to speak Chinese? It's the same thing. You're both Americans, and in America we speak English. I had been happy with that answer then, but now my tongue felt frozen in my mouth and I couldn't say anything. The Chinese girl looked at me as if I were a filthy cockroach crawling on her food. Her fat face wrinkled in disgust. I don't know, I mumbled. I know why, one girl said, her nose arching toward the ceiling. It's because you've been Americanized. My mother says she would never let me become Americanized. She said that when you're Americanized, you don't have any culture. You're a Twinkie, another girl said. My brother said Chinese people who are Americanized are Twinkies, yellow on the outside but white on the inside. The girls cackled and jabbered at each other in Chinese like mockingbirds. I felt like a helpless fish frying in oil, with a red-hot heat burning my face and stinging my eyes. I turned around so they wouldn't see me cry. More kids and the teacher came in. I breathed in my tears and sat down. We sat at small tables and the teacher put paper and crayons in front of us. I sat as far away from those girls as possible. The teacher taught us a little bit about colors. She asked us to draw something red, so I drew a piece of watermelon. Then we had to draw something blue, so I drew a bluebird. Then she had us draw something white, and I drew a unicorn. Then she asked us to draw something yellow, but I couldn't think of anything yellow that I wanted to draw. The teacher walked around the room and looked at everyone's drawings. She stopped and looked at my drawings. This is lovely, she said, looking at my picture of a bluebird. She showed the rest of the class, look at the beautiful drawing of the bluebird that Pacey did. All of a sudden, I felt better. I didn't have to speak Chinese to be a good artist, but my smile disappeared when I saw one of the girls at the other table scowling at me. The teacher kept walking around the room, and I heard her stop at the girls' table and say, now this is nice and yellow. Is it a banana? The girls laughed. No, I heard them say, it's a Twinkie. I pressed down on my crayon so hard that it broke. The hot oil inside of me was blistering and bursting. In my head, I wanted to shout, I never want to speak Chinese ever if it makes me mean like you. But I didn't say anything. When the class was over, I went back to our room and I threw myself on the bed. And then I cried and cried. I hated those girls. They were so horrible. Kiki saw me crying and ran to get Mom. What's wrong? Mom asked me. Did something happen? I shook my head. I didn't want to tell anyone what those girls said, but I kept crying. Dad went and asked the art teacher if anything happened at the class, but the teacher said I had been fine. She even said I did very good drawings. I stopped crying and started hiccuping. Did she really say that? I asked. Maybe things weren't so bad. I probably would never have to see those girls ever again. I blew my nose and rubbed my eyes. Then I asked Mom, why do you want me to have more Chinese friends? Was someone mean to you in your class? Mom asked. What did they say to you? No, I shook my head. I still didn't want to tell anyone what had happened. No one said anything. Mom sighed and sat next to me. I thought it would be good for you to have friends from your own culture, Mom told me, so you could know people who are like you. Did I ever tell you about my first friend in America? Mom's first friend. Okay, so this is her mom talking. When Dad and I first came to the United States, I was very lonely. Dad was in medical school and I was going to college, but I had never lived away from my family before. I was used to having my 4 sisters and brother, my parents, my grandparents, uncles, and aunties around everywhere. In Taiwan, we used to all eat dinner together, laughing and talking, everyone bubbling over like simmering soup. When I came to the United States, everything seemed quiet and cold. Usually I ate dinner all by myself because Dad was too busy. I would shiver on my way to school, the wind biting me the whole way. People would talk and laugh and walk by me as if I were an invisible ghost. I was scared to talk to them because my English was so bad. I didn't understand the TV or my teachers or anyone. They all spoke so fast, their words sounded like monkeys jabbering. I didn't know how to make friends with any of them. I was sad and lonely and homesick. I felt like a thistle in a rose garden. Every day I would come home from class and cry and cry. One day while I was crying, someone knocked on the door. "Are you okay?" someone called out in Chinese. I was so surprised that someone was talking in Chinese that I stopped crying and opened the door. At the door was a Chinese girl with a grin like a melon slice. Her name was May. She had been visiting a friend next door and had heard me crying. When she learned I was Chinese, she decided to come over. What a difference it made knowing May. We became fast friends. I clung to her like a vine and she supported me like a tree. She told me how she had been homesick too when she first came, but now she never wanted to go back. She introduced me to her American friends, helped me with my English and my studies. She never was impatient with my bad English or my fear of American things because she had had them too. Slowly I started to feel like the United States wasn't so bad. I stopped thinking so much about all the things I missed and started thinking about all the things I could do. I made more friends, I ate pizza, I went to the movies. America began to feel like home, and now it is. But that is why I wanted you to have friends from our culture, Mom told me, because it's easier when you know people who understand. But just because they're Chinese doesn't mean they're the same as me, I said. I don't think they understand at all. That's true, Mom said, but because they are Chinese, they are more likely to understand. Look at you and Melody. Do you think she understands? I nodded, but I wasn't convinced. It's not fair. To Americans, I'm too Chinese, and to Chinese people, I'm too American. So which one am I supposed to be? Neither and both, Mom told me. You don't have to be more one than the other. You're Chinese American or Taiwanese American, I complained. It's so confusing. Good thing you're so smart, Mom said. You can keep it from getting mixed up. Yeah, I said, but everyone's not as smart as I am.